I just put together like my Nespresso drawer, and I have room because like
cute.
we did so many drawers in the kitchen instead of
That's so
shelves.
nice
That's
though.
kind of nice.
It
Yeah.
Is
kind of
so
is,
I
but a
want the same
lot of
thing.
it is like I kind of miss having some shelves for like pans and stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It worked like because the drawers are deep, like it fit all of our mugs basically,
Oh.
and the
Oh yeah.
coffee pods and stuff, so it kind of works out.
I have 2 drawers or 3 drawers underneath my stove, and I love
under the stove.
having.
That's nice.
Oh, my
Yeah, I
mom
do
has
like
that
them
too.
actually separate. And I'm
Oh, your
when we redo
stove
our
is
kitchen.
separate from your oven?
Yeah, I love it. I love
Like
love,
a
love it.
cooktop and then an
Yeah, a
oven.
cook-
Why do
Cooktop
I
and
feel
then
like
the
I
oven
haven't
is-
even fully seen your kitchen?
I
don't
haven't
know.
either. And I went
Like,
to her house.
Yeah, I guess we didn't go upstairs.
I like glanced by it. Like
Yeah.
That's funny. Like you show like when you're cooking something or like the counter, but I've never
Yeah.
seen like the full thing.
I think it looks so ugly. I just hate our kitchen. We literally have like the old school like fruit, like from back in the day. The design was like
Mhm.
putting fruit in your kitchen. They have like
Uh-huh.
Oh, I
tiles
kind
that
of
are
love
like
that.
fruit. I don't really.
Oh my
love
gosh,
it.
wait, now I need
Vintage.
to see that.
I remember my mom like literally stenciled. I think stenciling was a huge thing like back in the
Yes.
90s, early 2000s. My mom like stenciled like apples across like our kitchen in like that maroon color, like that was so
Yes.
popular. She painted our whole kitchen
Yeah.
that
Yep.
and did the stencils.
Oh
and
my
everything.
gosh, that we did that on our like back
Very.
patio stencils and painted in. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
that's
It
so
was like
funny.
everyone wanted to decorate like Olive Garden or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like, was it like Tuscan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I
this
think
was,
that's
like,
exactly what
and, like,
it was.
Italian-y.
Yeah.
The Tuscan theme. That's exactly it. But yeah,
It's an
I
old
guess
farmhouse.
it's so true.
I just saw TikTok
Yes,
actually.
the
that
OG
was,
farmhouse.
It literally is OG farmhouse. It was like showing in the 80s, like when Olive Garden first opened in a certain state. I don't know. And they were talking about, they were like, it's a beautiful family style restaurant. There'll be at least 45-minute waits. And like the way they were talking about it was just like, it was like the most authentic, fancy Italian place.
That's so funny. I feel like Macaroni Grill did a better job of being like authentic
I
Italian.
never went there that much. I think I've only been there like twice.
We went there more than we went to Olive Garden.
Really?
Oh, we're an Olive Garden family.
Same. Like every birthday, Olive Garden.
Mm-hmm. My graduation, that's where I wanted to go.
Olive Garden.
It's like so white.
From high school.
Yeah, high school graduation.
I remember I had my parents take me to like this like fancy seafood company after
That's
high
so
school
you.
graduation.
No,
It
that would
was,
have
like,
been smart, but
What was your like go-to birthday spot?
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, somewhere expensive. I like picked the Chop
Like you
House.
changed
Like-
every year.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
Yeah.
a standard
It
place.
was- No. I did like sushi for sure a couple years. Loved sushi. And then sometimes I'd have like my dad just make lobster and steak because he did it better than other
do we have the
people.
same dad? That's like the same.
Yeah. He's just really good
Except-
at grilling fish and like steak and seafood and
Have you always
my
liked
dad
seafood?
cooks gourmet dinners.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't think I really had an option not to like seafood though. So
I feel.
but I grew up on it like when I was really young. Like I would eat sardines like out of a can at like very young. My mom would like
Wow.
always cook fish, lobster.
Yeah, Dev, you've talked about too how your dad just makes lobster, and that's like I've just never experienced that in life.
Yeah, he cooks fancy food.
I love that
He's
though.
a good cook. Yeah, me too.
That's
Like,
very nice.
I
Was
wouldn't
he
even know
a
how to
cook
eat
when
a
he was with
lobster.
your mom, or did he
Nope,
like become
he
a
had
cook
to
after?
learn. Yeah, he had to learn.
Kind of sad
as
for
a
your
single
mom.
dad. Kind of sad for him. Like I don't know.
Does
like
he
as a
really
single
enjoy
dad, he
cooking
had
now?
to learn how to cook dinner. Now he does. Yeah.
That's
He had a
awesome.
girlfriend that was really good at cooking, and he learned a lot from her, and then kind of went from there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
His mom was an amazing cook too, and his brother is a great cook. But like he was the youngest, so he like never did shit.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Interesting. All right, well, welcome back to another episode of So Glad We're Friends. I'm Maggie.
I'm Devin.
I'm Brittany. I'm doing this new content strategy mastermind thing, and she was like, at the beginning, she's like, please cut out millennial pauses. It is ruining
No
the
way!
first. And I
Like
went
when you're
back in.
editing videos or something?
Yeah, she's like,
Oh.
you are wasting the first 3 seconds that
Wait,
you're like
specifically to
getting someone
you or to everyone?
No, it was like to everyone because there's a lot of people. Like she was reviewing everyone's videos, but like millennial pauses were like the big. Like she had 3 things to tell people, and she was like, "Cut out the pauses," because she's like, if you
Yeah,
have
can we
3
just
seconds
call
to
it a
hook somebody
pause?
in, if you have somebody 3 seconds to hook somebody in, I'm cutting out a minute or a second and a half at least on my. I was like, that's really bad that I have to cut out like literally half of the time that I have someone to take to get someone's attention. So
Yeah, some people when they edit like TikToks will cut out like the first half of the first word when they start a new sentence
yeah,
even. Like they just really it's weird.
I don't
They're
like
just
that
trying
as
to keep
much,
your
but
attention. Me either.
yeah.
I think it's weird, but I see a lot of people do
I
it.
definitely cut as closest to
Me too.
starting
Yeah.
as normal. It's weird, Dev, though. Like, I never think of you as a millennial. Like, right now, when you just were like, let's just not call it millennial pause. Like, I don't think of you as a millennial.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
It's like you're like honorary Gen Z or something.
I'm just cool.
But how? Like,
She's
why are
working
you
just
cool
really hard.
when you're the oldest? Like,
Our oldest kids not cool now.
Yeah. What
well,
the hell?
I'm thinking of my siblings and like
Maggie.
my sister's
I'm
very
way
millennial.
cooler than my sister Lexi still uses Facebook and she doesn't use TikTok. So
How weird. Like, I just
you know,
don't
I really got to
understand.
credit the kids on TikTok for my coolness.
For your
But
coolness.
I've always been
Maybe.
young at heart. You know how people have an old soul? I have a young soul. Like
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm 22 or something.
Yeah.
So I got to fit in with the 22-year-olds.
25 forever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna grow up.
Yeah, that'd be a good age.
I wish.
You just turned 26, didn't you?
25.
25. Sorry, don't want to age you.
I don't know how I'll feel about turning 26. I don't know how I'll feel when
Definitely
Cameron
will.
turns 30. That'll be weird.
Yeah.
When does he
Everything's
turn
great
30?
till you turn 29.
Yeah, 29, I feel like 29
like,
will be
fuck.
worse than 30 probably. Like 30, I want to just be excited. I'll be like 13 going on 30 and like make it cute.
I was okay with turning 29.
Yeah.
But TBD on 30.
Yeah, we'll see.
I have a year. I have like another 6-7 months to come to terms with it.
Yeah, it's just hard to like keep losing your life, you know? Like aging, you're never going to be young again. You're getting older. Your body's going to start handling things less well. You're going to start having aches and pains. You're going to start getting sick more often. You're going to start getting wrinkles and lines on your face. But like I remember, you know that age filter on TikTok?
Mm-hmm.
Like I posted a short video of me with the age like that I look like an 80-year-old woman and I was like, this is depressing. And so many women in the comments were like, why do Americans hate aging? Like you should be so lucky to live that long, blah blah blah. But like, why can't I be afraid of being 80? Like yeah, I want to live until I'm 80, but like I still would like to be 30 forever.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
That is interesting. But I think with what I see like older people is that there's such a range of things that can happen. There's like so many 80-year-olds that are really healthy, just minor things here and there. They're very active, they're on their feet. And then there's 80-year-olds that like are bedridden. So it's like I think that's part of the aging process that scares me the most is just that it's very not guaranteed what your life is going to look like past a certain age because everyone is so different with it. And even like in your family, you can kind of see what happens, but it could be completely different for you.
And it's scary to me when I know that right now in being 25, I don't have the lifestyle ideally that I would want to moving forward as I become a parent and then get older. Like, I'm not as active as I would like to be. I'm not doing like just a bunch of lifestyle things of how I wish that I will be when I'm older. I'm like, I'm not doing
Yeah.
that at 25. So it's like a
Yeah.
scary thing of like, I want to start doing that before I like have kids, and then especially before I like actually get old. But if I can't do it at
Yeah.
25, how the fuck am I gonna do it at like 60?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you realize that becoming an adult doesn't just automatically make you like prepared and
I know,
organized and
that's
smart
the
and driven. Like
biggest
you're still the same
mind fuck.
person you were at 18. You just have more
You're just like
responsibility.
waiting. You're just waiting for it to happen. You're like, okay, I'm now 29.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't these other things supposed to just kind of like fall into place? And it just like
Mhm.
doesn't happen like
Yeah.
that.
So when am I going to be able to make my doctor's appointments? Because
And then
Don't
like
know.
just the thought of having kids, and then you have to make your kids' doctor's appointments, and then like their
Mhm.
homework you're keeping track of and their activities and all of that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I can barely do that for myself and for the dogs, like let alone
That
children.
must be why it's so easy as parents to just put your whole self on the back burner and only care about
Yeah.
your kids, because like I kind of understand, like with Willow, I care so much about her, so I'm always going to make her annual vet appointment no matter how scared I am of it or whatever. But like for me, I can keep
Mm,
putting it off because it's me, you know. But like with your kids,
Yeah.
like obviously you're going to take on like their homework and their doctor's appointments and their activities and their friends, and then when are you going to have time to deal with your shit? You're not, because it's easier
exactly.
just to worry about them and not worry
Or
about
things
you.
like eating, like you feed the dogs the best food possible, but like I don't make
Yeah.
sure that I take my vitamins or have proper nutrition. And I'm sure with kids, it's like you always see moms talk about like they make their kid this beautiful lunch and all
Mhm.
nutritious, and then they're just
Yeah.
eating like the scraps from it or whatever
Mhm.
random snack.
Yeah.
It's a hard
It
balance.
sounds horrible.
But there's also like there's so many people that are in their 30s and now even in their 40s, and they're just like, I wish I just didn't worry so much about the future in my 20s and just kind of like enjoy the ride. And I think about that a lot just because I definitely spent a lot of time like from 16 on being like, I wish I was older. I wish I was older. And now
Mhm.
I'm like older and I'm like, okay, the time's not like slowing down at all. And I can just change my mindset and enjoy it a little bit more. And I think that helps a lot too, instead
Yeah,
of like worrying so much about what's going to happen in the future.
that's very
Yeah.
But
true.
I think I
Yeah.
have to like hear those things from people. Like it's not something I just think about on a regular basis. It's something I like
Mhm.
continuously have to hear over and over again from, you know, other influencers or just like older people like, hey, 30s and 40s are incredible. Like just enjoy wherever you're at in life right now, because it just keeps getting better and better.
But I just hate how fast it goes. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's so fast, and I can just
Well,
only
even Dev,
imagine it
I
gets
think that
faster.
you were talking about either in like just a random TikTok or your lake house vlog that you do the same thing like over and over and over again.
Oh
So it
yeah.
just like helps, it just makes the days bleed together versus
Mhm.
if you're doing something here and you're doing something there, you have like things to look forward to, and
Yeah.
it just makes life a little bit more exciting. And that really hit me too, because I was like, I like my routine. I like doing the same thing, but then you're right that it does get very monotonous and everything
It's
just kind
so
of
Novelty
runs
true.
makes your
together.
days feel longer if you're doing something different every day.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when you think about vacations that you take, like obviously those memories are very vivid in your mind because it was novel and different than your normal routine. And like those days seemed so much longer, and it seems like such a bigger stretch of your lifespan
Mm-hmm.
than like the other 12 weeks in a row that you work all day long. Like those just all feel like
It's
a
so
blimp in
true.
time.
I think that's why the COVID years too felt so fast, because it was like we
At
weren't
first, they
doing
were
special
very
things.
special.
Slow.
At first, they were
That
like
2 weeks.
so novel. Yeah, everybody's like, we're going on family walks and we're making our own coffees. And like, it was
Yeah.
new to us. And
Yeah,
then it
sometimes I get
became
nostalgic for
mundane.
that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But
I
I,
still wish that I just knew what we were doing for 3 months,
Yeah.
because I could not just chill out.
See, I loved it because it was like an excuse for me to like also not do things, and everybody else wasn't doing anything, so I didn't have any FOMO. And it was like
mhm.
I could
Yeah.
just be.
That's
Yeah,
so
that was
true.
nice. when nobody was traveling either.
Yeah.
And you didn't feel like you're missing out on traveling and stuff.
Yeah, and even work. It's like work was even messed up, so you didn't even feel pressure work-wise, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't caught on yet or read the title of today's episode, today we're going to be talking about the Barbie movie because Devin and I saw it a few weeks ago and then we were very obsessed. And then last night, Brittany saw it and Devin went again and took notes.
I love that.
I also have 2 pages of notes as well.
Okay.
I was like, I just want to start writing things. And then I was like, holy shit, I just wrote 2 pages. And then
I was trying to
thinking,
pay
that's
attention
incredible.
in the movie, but like also I needed to like note things.
yeah,
Yeah.
It
like
was kind of
I
hard.
was
My notes are kind of a
thinking
mess, but
I could write like a college essay on this movie. Like if I
yeah,
was
me
in college
too.
right now, I would choose like this for my fucking dissertation.
That would be so
That's
fun.
amazing.
Should we go back
Did
to
you?
school?
Maybe I think about that.
I was thinking
sometimes,
about
too.
that. I see Michelle posting like her papers
The
are due and
same,
stuff,
and then I'm like,
like,
never mind.
no. Okay.
Yeah.
Like so much pressure and stress. Did you find it like? Did you find any new things that you didn't find the first time you watched it?
Yeah, I had another realization, like a new realization about the whole concept of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, what is
I
it?
think that I need to
Are we
see
going to get
it.
right into that? I feel like we should do like a little summary of the movie. Wait, you haven't seen it, Britt? You didn't go see
She
it?
saw last
No, I
night.
have.
Oh, okay. I thought you
I said
I
I
need
was
to
like
see
I
it.
want to see it again
Oh,
and
okay.
like just like watch it for more things. You know what I mean? Like kind of like what you did. Because I was just taking it all in the first time.
Yeah.
And then I feel like a second time around would be good. The
One
other thing I really
thing-
want to just like talk about too with like this like throughout the episode is you guys I think listened to an episode that kind of was like bashing Barbie, right? Or like not.
Oh, Claudia called it millennial cringe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I listened to part of a podcast this morning that like just had a different perspective on it. And I was
Was
just
it Becca's?
like, no, it was like
okay,
this
'cause I have
feminist
another one.
podcast that, yeah, but either way, like we don't have to talk about it right now, but I want to just like get into that a little bit because I'm curious what you guys.
I did too. I
Like,
heard
it made me like really
point, and I was
riled up when I was like listening
Yeah.
to it. I was like, I don't like this. as
Yeah,
much, but-
JC talked about it on What We Said, and she was talking about how people's views on it are, how people are saying that it's like anti-woman and like anti-man, and she was like saying how ridiculous that is. But she was like describing the movie, and it like made me tear up just listening to her talking about it. So
yeah.
Dang. Okay, well, do you want to give a description first?
I need to go let my cat in really quick because he's been scratching at my door for 5 minutes straight.
Okay.
Should we also just say right now, like we're talking about the movie, so if you haven't seen it, turn this off, right?
Yeah, this I guess will have like some spoilers, but I feel like the whole movie, like, there's nothing to really spoil. Like, I guess you can kind of spoil it, but like, I think if you
Yeah.
knew things about it ahead of time, it wouldn't like ruin the movie necessarily. But listen at your own risk.
Yeah. Or just watch it and then listen to the episode.
I hope it comes out like on streaming soon. I think it's like 6
I know.
years now from when a movie comes out, then it goes to streaming.
Barbie?
Yeah, like I think movies.
I think it's going to be on Max in October or November.
Oh, I hope. October.
Oh, that's kind of a long time. We even still, I forgot, it was like last minute last night. I was like, oh, we should go see this. And there was a couple theaters where there was only like a handful of seats left still.
Wow.
At like a 6
Wow.
o'clock, 7 o'clock.
This was the first
Yeah.
movie I've seen in years where I had
Same.
people on both sides of me. Like it wasn't like an empty
Weird.
theater. It was like a whole experience. I was in the bathroom. Everyone was in pink. It
Which was
like,
also
yeah,
awesome.
fun.
Like hearing
Yeah.
people laugh at all the things and like just like the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah,
it.
like it felt like
And
going
then-
to a Harry Potter showing or something when we would all
Yeah.
dress up.
I forgot how much I like the movies too.
I know.
It's like such a fun experience. I definitely want to go at least like more frequently. But there has to be like movies that are like worthwhile to go see in theaters.
Okay, give us your description.
This is a lot of pressure.
Well,
I'm
you're the
s-
one that brought up giving a description.
I know.
I wasn't
I like
prepared
it.
for that.
I like it in other podcasts when they do that. Okay.
You can
so
look it up on IMDb or some shit.
Let me try to riff on this, okay? I just saw this yesterday. You guys can jump in. Hopefully I don't freeze. Okay. So you open up to Barbie land. And also one thing I noticed is like the set production. Did I freeze again?
I can't.
I just love this. Oh man.
Am I still frozen?
You open up to Barbie land.
And everything is perfect. I'm afraid that I'm going to freeze again.
I don't know how to combat that issue.
Okay. Everything's perfect, and the Barbies are like, obviously when you're a little kid, Barbie can do and be anything, and that is exactly how it is in Barbie land. Like, Barbie is president, they're all Barbie on the Supreme Court justice, Barbie won the Nobel Prize, Barbie's an astronaut, etc. And Ken is just Ken. They have jobs, like Ryan Gosling is hilarious, and his job is just beach, and it's hilarious. And the set production and everything is so perfect. Like, it's so beautiful. That's something that I noticed yesterday, and I was like, everything is so, like, cinematically beautiful.
My first notes is the set in capital letters.
It's so good. So everything's perfectly fine. And also something I love is how like Barbies are just like, they compliment each other and they're like, I know. Like they just like take
I love that too.
Well. And they are very aware of their accomplishments and proud of them, and they can just say, yeah, thank you, I know, I did work hard on this.
Yeah.
And then one morning Barbie wakes up and everything is like going awry. So like her feet flatten out and she trips and she falls down and her milk is spoiled. And she starts realizing like what is going on, like something is wrong. And so she confides in the other Barbies and they tell her that she has to go see Weird Barbie to see what's going on. So she goes over to find Weird Barbie, which is Kate McKinnon. Always
wait.
in the splits.
You cut out after Kate McKinnon.
Her hair was cut off.
Yeah.
Did you get that part?
You said played by Kate McKinnon.
Okay. Yeah, so Weird Barbie, her hair is all chopped off and her face is all colored on and she's in the splits.
Which is so accurate.
I know, like I was saying, your one fucked up Barbie that you had was like always literally in the splits for some reason. Like you always just like put their legs apart. And Weird Barbie tells her that Barbie is actually being played with by a real life child in the real world, and she has to go and find that child and figure out what's wrong because the child that's playing with her is obviously sad. Oh, I forgot Barbie is having like thoughts of death and like feeling depressed and self-conscious for some reason. Yeah, and she has no idea why because she's never had thoughts like this ever before in her life. So she realizes she has to go to the real world. So she goes to the real world. Ken sneaks in the back of her car. Ken goes to the real world with her. And she's looking for this one kid. This feels like this is going to be a very long synopsis. This is like too long of a description.
You're kind of really going into detail.
So anyways, she finds the kid. She realizes that it's actually the kid's mom that's playing with her. And like power.
You have to start over.
She found out it was her mom who was playing with her.
Are you kidding? I don't want to keep doing this.
Okay, you just have to finish. You're so close. Guys, we're having Wi-Fi struggles.
I don't know what I said.
I think you might be good now.
Well, what was the last thing you heard?
You found out that it was the mom.
Are you kidding? Okay, also in the real world, Ken learned about the patriarchy. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he feels very empowered by like all the men looking at him and nodding at him, and he just realizes that men rule the world in the real world, not Barbie. And Barbie's starting to feel like she's like, I feel an undertone of violence. Like she feels very uncomfortable. Some dude slaps her ass. Like she's like, I do not feel safe here. What is wrong? Something is terribly wrong here. While Ken is like, yeah, I love this patriarchy. I'm going to go be a doctor. Anyways, Barbie finds the person who's playing with her, and Ken goes back to Barbie land. Then Barbie goes back to Barbie Land after Ken and realizes that Ken has turned all the Barbies into brainwashed. They're brainwashed and the patriarchy has taken over, basically. And Ken is trying to turn Barbie Land into Kendom.
Should she try and restart her Wi-Fi?
I think
I don't know.
I already did.
Did you restart your Wi-Fi or just your computer?
My Wi-Fi?
Damn.
So then Barbie goes back to Barbie Land and tries to.
That's when it left off.
Yeah.
Save
She sees
Barbie
the whole
Land
patriarchy that
from
they took over.
destruction. Yeah. While also like helping Ken to realize that he is not just Barbie's companion, he is Ken. He needs to find what makes him happy, what makes him him. And then at the very end, she realizes after everything she's experienced, she can't just be a Barbie anymore. So the creator of Barbie shows up and she asks the creator, "Can I be a human? Like, is that okay with you?" And then this whole like the song.
It's been playing in my head this whole time too.
Anyways,
But they play Billie Eilish's song, and it's the cutest montage with real footage of the actual crew and everyone involved in the movies, families and friends.
yeah, it's so good. Also, that part on the park bench or the bus bench
I was
when
gonna
that
say that
song
when we were
starts
talking about being
playing,
old.
and she starts realizing like all the real emotions that humans have. Like there's a
Yeah.
guy and a girl fighting and there's a guy who's crying, but there's kids playing and laughing and having so much fun. And she's
That
just like
part got me.
realizing this all at the same time
Yeah.
while that fucking song is playing. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. It's the perfect song. Like, how do we even start? Do we go in order? Do we just like talk about random points?
Well, my notes are kind of in order.
Okay, so we can kind of do that. First of all, did you know that Dua Lipa wrote the song after they already filmed the whole dance?
What?
They
No.
had
Oh, I
the
love that
track.
scene. I love that dance so fucking much.
Me too. I'm like obsessed with it. And there's like tutorials. I'm like might be doing that later, trying to learn the full dance. Anyways,
I want to learn it too.
they play the video
The one at the
of
beginning?
Yeah.
like of the
Yeah. Yeah.
Dance.
That's not a way. Yeah, so she's watching the video and they have Mark Ronson. What is that guy's name?
Mark Ronson.
Mark Ronson. Yeah, he's like the big music producer. So he had like the track and they played the track over the dancing and then she's like trying to vibe and like make all the lyrics like after the
That's
fact,
so
which I thought was so
cool.
cool.
I did not know that.
I fucking
then I
love Ken
also-
in that scene.
First of all, I saw somebody be like, "Oh, everyone's gonna be Barbies for Halloween," and I was like, "Oh, that kind of sucks," because like, you know, I always want like a unique costume. But then when everyone's talking about how we could all be out on the streets all dressed as Barbie and be like, "Hi Barbie," and all break out into that dance
I
routine.
love that.
And everybody could be
That
different
would be
Barbies.
incredible.
Exactly. I was looking at Bride and Groom Barbie. That would be cute.
That would be cute.
That would be really cute.
Okay. So my first note I took, and we can go back and like talk about the like themes within. So the first thing that I made note of is when Barbie was given the Nobel Peace Prize or something, or one of the Barbies said, "I have no problem expressing logic and emotion at the same time, and it does not diminish my power." And I was
Yeah.
like, I mean, that I love that because that's something that as women we literally feel like we cannot do. And that's
Yeah.
like what's so great about Barbie and something that I like want to take from this movie and like do more of. Like be like I don't know. For women it's so hard to both be emotional and logical, or it's not.
Yeah.
But society tells
Everyone
us that
tells
you can't
us
be
that.
both.
Yeah.
Which
It
is
tells
so
you you're
untrue.
one, it tells you you're one or the other. And I feel like people are like, okay, you're right brained or you're left brained. And that's like what people kind of determine like who you are as a person, but you're allowed to do like all the things. It doesn't have to be like one way or another.
Yeah, and people say all the time that women are too emotional to be in power, or they'll just start a war or whatever, when it's literally the
That
complete opposite.
women would do the opposite of just like, hello, men are the one who get angry and fucking start fighting. I
Yeah,
think
who's more
being
likely to punch a
able,
wall?
I think being logical and expressing our emotions at the same time is a fucking superpower.
There's also an element of just like compassion and empathy. But as a society, we're taught like that we are one or the other. We're not both.
Yeah, like it all goes back to the patriarchy and like men's inability to express emotions like in a normal way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not that Barbie is
But
anti-men either. Barbie is not. At the very end, Barbie gives Ken permission to be himself and not just be like
Beach or
this,
Barbie's Ken.
or like a horse riding, like, you know, like what he turns into at the very end, like this masculine, gross version of himself.
Yeah, I thought that
Yeah.
was so funny because it is so true. Like, if an alien came to our world, they literally probably wouldn't know if men or horses were in charge, because there's always horses like attached to
That's
everything.
really funny.
It's so funny.
Also, how they gallop around on the horse stick, the head,
Yes.
or the stick with the horse
Yes.
head.
That's
That was
so
so good.
funny. But I like the point too. Like, it did make, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's only about girls," but it brought a lot of thought to me about boys and how boys
Yeah.
grow up, and like what leads them to also be that way of not feeling like they can express emotion, and how boys also get like trapped in the patriarchy of feeling like they have to be like toxically masculine. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
also how like you can have a son. Like, I would hope that if I had a son, I would raise him to have all the same beliefs as me and think of women as like of value and of equal value. But
Mhm.
then like you send them out into the world and they still learn all that information, and it's kind of like, no matter like what Barbie tried to teach Ken, it's like once he got into the world, you can't stop that information from like hitting them and from them changing, which is a
Mhm.
little
Yeah.
scary.
I also think that like in that last scene that you're talking about with Barbie telling Ken that, I think it's interesting so many of these things are kind of like reciprocal in real life.
Mhm.
And so being like, hey, you can be what you want to be, you can figure out who you are and define yourself. I feel like that's also not just a message for guys, but like for girls too, because I think so often it's like the message is that you have to be plus one and not just like an individual.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the way that the Barbie movie starts out, where like Ken is just a supporting role, and Barbie is like the main character, and men are so angry about that, but that is literally how every big Hollywood movie is. Women are just the supporting. Women are the Ken in 90% of movies
Yeah.
that
Did
are
we
in
talk about the
existence.
Bechdel test last week? Did I make that up?
I don't think so.
That Bechdel test is like, if you look at a movie or book or anything, and to be able to pass the test, it has to have two female main characters talking about something other than a boy. And like most movies do not pass it. Like all the Harry
Wow.
Potters, most everything doesn't pass it. Because even if
Really?
there's two girls, they're always talking about a freaking boy.
Exactly.
That's like, it was interesting. Some of these, this like one podcast I was listening to was kind of criticizing that they don't have a happily ever after. And I was like, but why? Because
I think it is a
it's
happily
kind
ever
of
after.
nice. Well, no, like the happily ever after, like Barbie and Ken happily ever after, like they were talking about how that's like destructive to women. And I was like,
What?
how?
It
I
gave
don't think like
women
every
our
single,
own.
yeah, you have autonomy
Yeah.
to go out and do what you want to do, and you are able to be an individual. Like your worth and like who you are as a person and how you're defined doesn't have to be from you being with a man. That's not
Yeah.
success. And I thought it was so interesting that they brought that up and they were like, young girls shouldn't be seeing that. Young girls should be seeing this
What?
like happily ever after with a man. And I was like, what? Because my biggest thing with like the whole movie is that, and with it's really people's criticism of it, is that there is so much rhetoric and messaging of the exact opposite of the movie. So if you have one fucking movie that gives you hey, you could also do something this way and an alternative, and maybe it's a little bit stronger messaging in the opposite direction. Like, we kind of need that because all the other rhetoric and messaging and information is the complete opposite. So we do need that difference in opinion.
And she
Yeah.
It
found
just makes me
happiness
like,
completely by herself without a
yeah.
man. And she
And
wasn't
think
in
about
love
how
with Ken.
empowering that is. Yeah, because then she can go and find whatever she wants afterwards.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I really actually like that they didn't have this like happily ever after as Ken and Barbie together.
I also think it just simply had a lot to do with how we played with Barbies and how, like, as girls, we didn't really care about the Kens. And I was never I don't even know if I had a Ken. I
No.
maybe had
I
one,
don't think I
but
had
I
a Ken
didn't have
either.
them like be kissing or like in a relationship. Like
Mhm.
my Barbies were scissoring 24/7. Like I did not have a boy. It wasn't ever like, oh, they're getting married happily ever after. So I think that
Yeah.
the movie also played into that of like that's not what little girls are doing when they're playing with their Barbies.
Yeah.
That's so true.
My big realization of like one of the main themes of the movie, or like one of the main points, was all of the Barbies in Barbie Land are being played with by little girls who are innocent and believe in good in the world and think that anything is possible, and they aren't
Mhm.
afraid of anything. Like when you're a little
Yeah.
kid, everything is so safe and everything is like it is in Barbie Land. You think that that's true. But then when Barbie's
Yeah.
starting to be played with by an adult who has been beat down by the world and who has been hurt by so much in the world, and it has like had so much trauma and stuff, that's when Barbie starts getting depressed and starts feeling her emotions. But all
Mhm.
the other
Yeah.
Barbies have like a childlike state.
Mhm.
But then Barbie starts taking on like human adult emotions,
And
and
because
that's why she
when you're little, your parents too tell you like you can do anything, you can be anything, you could be the freaking president if you want to.
Mhm.
And then you get slightly older and you're like, there's never been a girl president. Like, can I
Yeah.
actually do
Mhm.
that? Like last night we were watching Big Brother. It's like one of our favorite reality shows. And last year a black girl won, and it was the first black girl that's ever won Big Brother. And there's like 20 something seasons. It's like kind of ridiculous. But this season, there's like another black girl on, and she was placed for eviction the first week. And
Mhm.
so was the last girl in last season. And Cameron was like, oh, it's like really cool that this girl now has proof of like this other girl won last year. Like now I can do it because I saw that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, think about how we feel as even like about presidents. Like you don't think realistically like I'm going to be the first female president, and then
Mhm.
that causes you not to even go for that whatsoever because you're like, well, that's not going to happen. And like we
Yeah.
just don't see examples of that in so many different scenarios where it's like we don't
Mhm.
feel like we have a place there. So it was so
Mhm.
cool to see like the Supreme Court or like the construction site where
Yeah.
she's like, let's fight when she goes to the real world. And she's like, let's go to the
Mhm.
construction site. All the girls will be there.
Yeah.
And it's just all boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they catcall her and stuff.
Yeah, that
She's
was
like, we
also
don't have genitals.
that was so funny. I saw so much criticism from boys of being like, that's not accurate. Like that was too intense. That was like really
And they
dramatized.
would know. What did
No,
they?
it was not even dramatized, like really
No.
at
I
all.
think that it is kind of crazy that if people are like, that's dramatized, because it happens every fucking day.
Every day. You
And
just walk outside.
But those men go again trying to tell us how we should feel.
Yeah, because they don't experience it. They can't. It's a lack of empathy too, I bet. Like when they
Mhm.
don't have the empathy to
yeah.
even place themselves in our shoes of knowing just being outside alone is scary. Just going
Yeah.
for a walk.
Yeah, because there are a lot of men who can empathize with us and like to see, like the Barbie movie, and like the
Yeah.
representation that it brings.
Yeah. When you're talking about happily ever after and all of that and that criticism, have you guys heard about the Snow White trauma?
Kind of.
Mm-mm.
So there's a new Snow White like live action movie, and the girl who's they're making like a lot of
The
changes.
actor.
First of all, yeah, there's a actress who's playing Snow White, and basically in all of her interviews, she's like, "I hated Snow White. Like I watched like 2 minutes of the movie when I was little, and I hated it. I went on the ride and I hated it." Like she's very publicly like saying how much she hates Snow White and hates that she was saved by a prince, and Snow White won't be doing that in this movie, and she's gonna be like girl bossing, and there's not even a prince in the movie whatsoever. And they also changed other things, like there's no seven dwarfs. It's like I don't even know what the things are instead of seven dwarfs. But there was also like all the like the actual dwarf actor community was like, wait, this was like our one opportunity. We've been waiting for this one. But then people are like trying to be politically like correct, where they're like, we shouldn't have dwarfs. So I don't know. It's like
Yeah,
very
but dwarfs are a mythical creature, so
yeah.
that
So
shouldn't
maybe
be offensive to people.
that's true. Or maybe make them non-mythical creatures and just regular humans that are dwarfs. I don't know. But the happily ever after point, I don't love that, because like I do, like you're saying, because everything is like that, we do need to have the opposite where there's not a happy ending and they're not all ending up together. But a big part of Barbie that I liked was like that you don't have to be everything, and you can just be a normal human and not have all these accomplishments. And that is still feminism. And so I feel like you could make still a movie where you like Snow White does end in happily ever after, and it can still be feminist.
Yeah.
Meaning like she ends up with a man happily ever after, or just like it has
Like
a
with
happy
a
ending?
man kind, like I don't think necessarily that we need to change every single already written story, I guess.
Well, they're already fully changing it apparently, so
Yeah.
That's insane that they're changing it that much.
Like just
I
make a
feel
new
like
movie about it.
people had a problem with The Little Mermaid ending up with a prince, but literally The Little Mermaid is the one who like does everything. Like she saves herself. Prince Eric doesn't do shit. So
Yeah, no. I
like
still
I don't
haven't seen that,
people
honestly.
are just like to be mad about things.
It's very
Yeah, they
Kristen
really
Bell was
do.
just on Armchair Expert, and there was this quote from her that I saw on TikTok or something, or on Twitter, and she was like, there are people who are just looking to be angry about things because that's what actually makes them happy, or so they think, you know? So they're always trying to find something to be angry about.
It was
No matter
very
what you're
interesting
saying.
when they were having that conversation though too, like of say we're in a room all together and we're having a conversation and there's someone in a wheelchair in the room. We would slightly, it's not like we would be saying anything bad about people in wheelchairs or anything like that, but in a way you do kind of change what you're going to say or the way that you would say things to make that person more comfortable. And in a situation like a podcast, or like if you're just posting a video online, you can't cater to everyone in the room because there's thousands or millions of people and you don't know all these different life situations that they might be going through. I thought that was so interesting.
And that's an annoying thing that happens all the time on TikTok when people reply and say like, my grandma's dead on a video with your grandma and stuff.
Yeah.
Like if I would have been talking straight to you and I knew your grandma was dead, then I wouldn't be talking about how great my grandma is.
Yeah.
But like I'm posting it out to millions of people possibly. So
yeah,
can't
you
really
don't know.
cater to everybody.
The being in the room situation too, I thought it was so interesting that like all of the people, the C-suite at Mattel was like all men, and Barbie's like, where are the women? There's no women making any decisions about like things for women, and just her like pure shock and just like what the fuck kind of
that had to be
mentality.
shocking for her coming from somewhere where women ran everything.
Yeah.
And it's sad for us in the real world that that's completely normal and we just have accepted it, you know? Like, of course,
and
they're
then
all men in the boardroom.
Yeah, and then Will Ferrell was like, "Well, we've had two over the entire course of like our, you know, the company's history," and I think it just makes a difference of like how people like even America Ferrera at the end was like, "What about we like have like an ordinary Barbie and like adding that to the mix?" And like that's maybe something that like could have helped thousands of women if there was the ordinary Barbie sooner. But since it's all men making the decisions on that, they don't have the differences of opinion and different ideas coming in.
Yeah, I wonder if a lot of the body like inclusion and everything of all that criticism that Barbie got a few years ago, and when they started releasing like the different body shapes of Barbie, I wonder how much of that just had to do with no women working for the company and the guys are like, we just want this skinny Barbies with the big boobs.
Yeah.
I never thought about it
at
that
the end of
way.
the day, Barbie is also a doll, so I don't know what they expect the
Mhm.
body shape to be like.
Yeah, but it's interesting because I remember my brother literally did write his master's, like, an essay in college about Barbie and about, like, the, like, actual measurements and how that couldn't ever actually be a real human, like, she would
Mhm.
fall over, it's not even correct proportions or anything. Like, that
Mhm.
was such
Yeah.
a big thing. So, I don't know, it's interesting to see how it changed, and that's what that girl in the podcast, The Criticism, which I literally didn't even think of, is she talked about how, like, is this also just a big rebrand for Mattel? Like, to be able to change the image of Barbie and promote consumerism almost again, and now her kids are like, "I need the Barbie Jeep, and I need the Barbie dress, and I need the Barbie purse, and I need all of these things now," when before Barbie was kind of on, like, the downslide and people were, like, not really into Barbie.
But what's wrong with wanting those things? I loved Barbie growing up. I
Yeah.
wanted all the Barbie things. So what's wrong with
Yeah.
rebranding and now seeing this movie and then being like, "Oh, I want the Margot Robbie Barbie and I want the Ryan Gosling Ken." Like, that's fun. Like,
Yeah,
why
there's
can't little
nothing.
girls have
Yeah.
those things?
But the other thing too is, why can't a brand learn and grow and change their
Yeah.
image? If they know that they have improvements to make, like, we should let them make those improvements,
Mhm.
whether it's, if they wanna rebrand Barbie to make sure that everyone knows it's, like, empowerment, then why the fuck not? That's okay,
Yeah.
I think, to make a mistake and then change your mind and figure out how to learn and grow and adapt, and
Yeah,
that's
and then
good marketing, it's good business, it's good for people, like, I don't think that's a bad thing to change that up,
Mhm.
even if it
yeah.
is
I
gonna
don't
make
think
them
so
money.
either.
Mhm, and they, like, I think them kinda, like, shitting on themselves in the movie or just being more honest with it or saying, "Yeah, we've only had 2 female, like, heads of the company,"
Mhm.
that helped them a lot, I think. Like, I think that that will make people think more highly of Mattel rather than,
Yeah.
like, if they weren't even in it or they tried to make themselves look really good in the movie.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell was so funny too. In that
Yeah.
scene in the cubicles while they're chasing her
Yeah, that
was
was so funny.
so good. Cause I mean, obviously, it's not, like, super realistic, but it was just hilarious. It was, like, very campy, and
Yeah,
it was just so funny when they, like,
that is
run face
good.
to face and scream and then, like, run past each other. Like, it was just so good.
It was really
Yeah.
good.
And they were
What were
literally
your
making so
thoughts?
much fun of all of those higher up guys at
Yeah.
Mattel. Like, they were all so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
It's
funny with, like, the
funny.
whole key card and, like, they couldn't figure it out
Yes.
and, like, Will Ferrell, like, dropped it.
Mhm.
One of the things that, like, made me feel some type of way was, like, when Barbie came back and everything was, like, Kendom, and just, like, seeing other women with, like, just kind of this brainwash thing, and it just really reminded me of, like, okay, this is something that we kind of experience on a regular basis, like, whenever something happens and we're like, "Wait, what the fuck just happened with the Supreme Court? Like, what just like, got overturned?" Like, all of these things, and I don't know, it just, like, really got me in that moment because it was, like, so shocking to Barbie. She's like, "Why would this happen?"
Mhm.
Yeah, and we have to deal with that all the time.
Yeah. And just, like, kind of the difference. I think the, like, difference in the worlds and being able to see, like, okay, what it would be like and then what reality is, I think that was, like, such a huge picture that they painted of, like, the mass difference between the 2 type of worlds.
Yeah, and how when Barbie was in charge, Kens weren't less than. They were just
Mhm.
doing their own thing. They weren't their servants or anything.
Mhm.
And it is so true, like, now as a girl, I don't know what that comes from of, like, feeling like, "Oh, I need to make him lunch," or, like, "I'm gonna serve them drinks when, like,
I
we have
don't
guests over."
know.
Like, where does that come from? Because I even am like that. Like, I like being, like, a homemaker kind of, or, like,
Yeah.
when our
Well,
friends
that
come over and
comes
stuff, I
from
like serving things, like
I mean, from the start of time, like, men have written women as servers, like.
yeah. Oh, the whole movie also really made me think of religion and the
Yeah.
Bible and how literally in the Bible men come from women and, like, we're not our own things, like, we're created from a man in the Bible, and I think
Mhm.
that that makes the whole society look at us as less than when, like, and not our own beings, kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It
men are
also made
always
me
in
think
charge of
of
our stories.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
when you look at just the, like, ability to kind of, like, help change women's minds too was not when they were changing them, they weren't, like, trying to put them down and have a conversation about how they're stupid and
Mhm.
they don't know anything, but they were like, "How can we, like, change the narrative to make sure that you feel empowered?" And then you have the, like, ability to change your mindset. And I think that's a really powerful thing that, like, there are a lot of women that still feel in that way and that that's the right way to do things and that's how, like, things are supposed to go. But us being like, "No, you're stupid," and which I think a lot of girls do is like, "You're stupid, why would you do that?" And you could change the conversation and the narrative about like, "Okay, actually, you can be more empowered and you can make your own decisions," type of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the whole getting older thing, like that you're saying about the girl on the bus stop when she's just like, "I know," when she tells
I
her
know
that
it.
she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that.
that's just so simple. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote down this quote, which I'm not sure if this is exactly right, but I think they were talking in Mattel. They were talking about Barbie, and they said something like, "When you think of sparkle, what else do you think of? Female ageism, like how females we like are so ageist against
mhm,
females as females."
mhm.
Mhm.
I just thought that was a funny quote, but
It's crazy that we're like that and that
yeah,
starts. Or even like if you think of growing up on magazines, I just remember all the covers of magazines would be like, "This actress gained 5 pounds," or "Look at how bad she looks in her bikini on the beach," or "Look at the cellulite," like with
Yeah.
circles around it and stuff. Like,
yeah.
no wonder that we thought that those things were bad or that gaining weight was bad or
Well,
any of
even
that.
now, how like female celebrities have a shelf life, and it's like, oh, she looks old now. Either she looks old or she looks like she did a lot of work to her face. Both
Yes,
Mhm.
that's
are
exactly what I was
wrong.
gonna say.
But men, they're
The
like,
work.
"Oh, look at George Clooney at 70. He looks
Paul
so
Rudd.
hot." Yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's just, like, it's so
They never
sexist.
comment that Paul Rudd or Brad Pitt or any of those men have gotten work done. But like J-Lo, Jennifer Aniston, they're always like, "What's your secret? Like, what
Mhm.
have you
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would
done?
never ask a
You look
man,
so young."
"What's your skincare routine?" They would never ask Paul Rudd that, like,
No.
like,
That is kind of crazy.
that is actually I've never really thought about that, but yeah, that's
But that's,
ridiculous.
like, what I was thinking about the whole surgery thing because I think even in the magazines, it was such a big thing to, like, catch someone who got surgery done to
Mhm.
make
Yeah.
themselves look different or, like, younger, and it's like, okay, so you don't like the way they look, but when they go and try and change it, it's also problematic too.
Exactly.
Do you think that us trying to look younger like feeds into that? Like how you were saying that when you saw the filter and stuff, you're like, "Well, I don't want to be at this place. I don't want to
It's
look like that." Like,
probably internalized ageism that we're like grown up with, because yeah, when I
yeah.
see, like, I'm 30, and when I start seeing like a new wrinkle on my face or like a gray hair, I'm like, holy shit, no. But also that comes from like, I want to be young forever. Like, I still want to be 20. Like, I don't want to get
Mhm.
old, and I have this like fear of like getting old and dying. But
Mhm.
also, yeah, I'm like, ew, that wrinkle is ugly. I need Botox so I can look
Yeah.
pretty,
Yeah, I would
which
say
is
Maybe
probably some
a
internalized issue.
maybe a big thing of that though too is that it's just not represented very well. Like old women are
No,
not
yeah,
represented in
no, and
like a
like,
glamorous way. And the same thing I think goes with like seeing different body types. Like now when you go into the mall, I just like went into the mall for the first time like a month or so ago and you see all different types of mannequins and that's now normal. But like even before I was kind of like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting like to see a bigger mannequin." But now it's like
mhm,
thank you for like
mhm.
having such a wide range of sizes shown.
that's
Yeah,
just
and
kind of
every
And
time we see a woman looking older, it's ugly. Like, the
yeah, it's always a
rhetoric
negative.
around it is, "She looks bad, she looks old." So, obviously, when I see
Yeah.
that on my own face, I'm gonna think that too.
like right
Yeah.
now I cannot think of one example of an older celebrity where it's not, "Oh, she looks so young because she's gotten work done," and it's just a normal grandma looking older celebrity besides like Betty White.
I feel
I
like
can't think
Diane
of one.
Keaton
Oh, Diane
has been
Keaton.
glamorized.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
really
have no idea
painful.
about like her work.
Martha Stewart.
Or
Oh
like
my god,
Goldie
Martha
Hawn and
Stewart on
stuff.
what magazine was she on? In the bikini?
Yes,
She
and we
looked
talked
great
about it
though.
on
Like
Chelsea
she
Handler's
didn't.
podcast. That was good. Okay, maybe there's some examples.
But also her face like was flawless, but
Yeah,
that was
that's so
still kind of
annoying.
cool to
You
see.
ever see normal older ladies in like your
No.
friends' grandmas and your own grandmas? Like you don't just or like people on the street, not celebrities.
Mhm.
That's very interesting.
That's so
Maybe we
weird.
should start like a whole getting older. I can't, but I am not the first one who's gonna be able to like embrace that though. Like that's gonna
Well, I
have to
think
come
maybe
before me
like
because
Gen
I love the
I think Gen X
being
will
younger.
not just I feel like a lot of I mean, our grandparents' generations and stuff, they were told like once you start looking old, cover it up
Mhm.
and, go away. You're old.
Mhm.
Go hide. We don't want to see you anymore. Society doesn't want you anymore. But like I feel like the younger generations are going to be like, "No, fuck that. Like I'm still wearing my bikinis
Yeah.
and I'm still going to
Yeah.
dress cute and I'm still going to have my long pretty hair. I don't care
I was
that
just
I'm 60."
talking to my sister about that on vacation because, like, when our grandma was 50 something, 60 something, like, she already had the short
Mhm.
hair. Like, they
Well,
looked
that was in
older, they
style
dressed
back then.
older. Was that it? It was
Yeah.
just like the
Yeah.
cool thing. But they looked
Yeah.
older. Like, I feel like now
Yeah.
you're right. Like, people will keep long hair. They'll
Mhm.
probably keep dyeing their hair, keep dressing in like a younger fashion, I guess.
Yeah. And I also don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like
No.
also it's always women shaming women, but some women will be like,
Yeah.
Grace age or whoa, Grace age
Age
gracefully.
Age crazy.
Yeah.
Like you have gray hair, like hair dye is bad for you, makeup is bad for you, Botox is bad for you. But it's like if that makes me happy, I mean that's one of the things I
Yeah.
like about being a girl. I like
Yeah.
dressing cute and I like wearing makeup and I like skincare and I like dyeing my hair and getting my hair
Yeah.
cut. Like
Yeah, and there shouldn't be a problem with that. But then how do we balance that with like breaking the cycle in a way of like we were also talking about this on vacation of like I of course heard like my mom and my aunt talking about their bodies and anytime you compliment them they're like, "No, that's not true," or "Ew, I'm gross." But
Yeah.
constantly 24/7 they're telling me how cute I am and how tiny I
mhm.
am and all of these other things. And I was like, "What did grandma used to say like in front of you
Yeah.
guys?" And they were like,
Mhm.
"Oh, 24/7 she was talking about her body and pinching her fat
Mhm.
and pointing out cellulite and all of these things." And I'm sure my grandma's mom was doing the same thing. So it's like I really, 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 really want to try to not do that in front of my children. But then it's hard, like when you actually do have those feelings, or with things like Botox or makeup or skincare, it's like those things aren't bad, but then that is telling your child in a way like Botox is like it's better to look younger.
Mhm.
That's so hard.
That's a hard, yeah.
I feel like being a mom is just like the hardest thing ever,
Mhm.
which was
I
also really
agree.
shown in this movie. And I cried telling my mom the quote of it says, I literally am gonna cry. Yeah. Us mothers stand still so that way our daughters can look back and see how far they've come. And like
Yeah.
that is so true and crazy. And like how you were just saying that you really put your full self and lose yourself into
Mhm.
parenting and you
My
Yeah.
mom
start
didn't
standing
really do
still.
that, so
That's good.
yeah.
I think that's a great example to have.
Yeah.
It
What
just
other
seems so
things you
hard.
have written down?
Yeah, what else? Um this goes along with like everything that we've been talking about, but when Barbie's crying and saying that she doesn't feel pretty or smart or good enough for anything, that scene was also so good. And then America Ferrera says
Yeah.
her like speech
Yeah.
about how women have to be this and that all at the same time and it's never good enough.
And it's
Yeah.
just so true. Like people can make fun of the speech or whatever, but like
People
if you
make fun of the speech.
oh yeah, that I think that was a lot of Claudia's criticism was like just that it's
Oh.
like cringy kind of or whatever. But if you look at it written down, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, that's all true. Those are all factual information.
Mhm.
Or like I saw a girl
Yeah.
make a video yesterday about being a mom, and like how if a mom is like on her phone with the kid, it's like she's a distracted mom. But if the dad's on his phone with the
Yeah.
kid, it's like, oh, he's a good dad, he's watching the kid. Or
Mhm.
Yeah.
how people say that dads babysit, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just your kid.
Yeah.
I feel like I saw that same video. That was like really powerful because she was the one. Was it the one that she was like dressing up as a guy,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
dad, and then yeah, that
Oh
was
my
good.
god, that's funny.
It was really good. But it's so true. It's like it's all true.
I definitely was impacted by that scene too, just of like not being able to feel good enough. But it was interesting because I think like when she again the difference of like when she was in Barbie land before she had gotten out to the real world, like those pressures and those thoughts weren't really there. And then now she's like seeing the weight of the world and like how things are. She has like all these outside pressures of like, oh, but I'm actually not good enough. I don't know how I'm supposed to
Mhm.
like do these things.
Mhm.
And yeah.
It makes you feel better a little bit that everyone feels the same way. But then it also kind of feels
Yeah.
really discouraging to me of like, how do we even begin to fix it?
Yeah. More movies like this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy to me though that like the some of the criticisms of it are that like one of the other ones was like that it doesn't need to be like emasculating and that feminism is like about equality of like females and males, but there's so much inequality for females that like I think it's okay if we have one movie or like
In a
one
fictional
message that's
world.
like in a fictional world that's just like more catered towards women and just like hyping them up more and showing them like what's possible and what they're able to do and accomplish. And it's okay if it leans a little bit more pro female and everything because we don't have that shit as examples in our lives. Like
Mhm.
it's okay if there's a few things that are just a little bit skewed for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite discouraging, like just people's idea of feminism. Like I think just genuinely a lot of people don't understand the definition. Like our friend Aaron, I like to debate with him all the time and Cameron hates it. But like to him, when he thinks of a feminist, he pictures like a girl with
Hating
purple
men.
hair, all like "fuck men, men are the worst," blah blah
Mhm.
blah. And like when I told him several years ago, like literally feminism just means that we are equal. He's like,
Uh-huh.
no, like that's not true. I'm like, no, that's the simple definition. It's just that
Yeah.
we're equal. Like it's not that we're supreme. And I think that I also saw a video the other day of like talking about like if we had a matriarchal society versus patriarchal, and how men view that of, oh, then just all the girls will be in charge and we'll have it the opposite way where guys are less than and everything. And
Yes.
it's like that's not how a matriarchal society
No.
would be. It'd be like the girl was saying, like mothers are the center and we all care about the children. That's a focus for everyone. So it's just more loving and understanding of everyone. Like it's
So
not
those men,
in power.
That's so fucking true, Maggie, of the like they think it would be just flipped, but it wouldn't. That would not be the goal. The goal would be to make it equal.
so they're
Yeah.
literally admitting
That's
that
crazy.
women are
That's what they
treated like
think.
shit
Yeah.
and they don't want to be in that position.
Yes. Yes, they
That's
are.
so fucked.
Also, look at the other countries, like fucking England. Like, I'm sure they still have feminism issues and whatnot, but it's like there's a lot of matriarchal societies in the world currently. Would that still be, how does that work?
What do you
Like when
mean?
there are like in like the queen and everything, like that's very matriarchal, and
Oh, but
the
there's still a patriarchy.
yeah, like how does that work? Like when
Yeah.
it is still a patriarchy, but there are like Sweden, there's a whatever they're called.
Prime Minister.
Yes, prime minister, female prime minister.
I don't really
I don't
know.
think it really changes much. It
Yeah.
just means that
It's
there's another
interesting.
person with
There's
a seat
still
at the
50
table.
men around
Yeah.
That
the
one
one
woman.
woman.
Mhm.
It's very interesting though, like the biggest thing with and I took this course or like seminar thing with my old company on hiring people. And the biggest way to just get more diversity and like more inclusion is just to make sure that you're like looking at more people and like that more people feel that they have the opportunity to be in that room. So even if like you are still interviewing 10 men, interviewing 10 women is very important so that you have like all sorts of opportunities, but those 10 women need to feel like that they have an opportunity in that room with that job and in that position. And so I think it's like both ways where you have to like open up the doors and show women that there's like those opportunities for them, but then also make sure that there's the people that are looking at it are looking across the board too. So I hope that I don't know, with the movie maybe more people will feel like that they have the opportunity and possibility of like being in the rooms that they want to be in.
Yeah, because unfortunately now I still feel like it's like when they do include women or people of color or anything, it's just like the token girl or token Black person
Yeah,
or
it really
whatever.
is the token.
Mhm.
And that's why I think it's so interesting though, like how can they make those jobs too more inviting to women? Because I'm telling you what, like the VP job, when I was like listening to like all the things my VP had to do, I was like, there's no fucking way I want to do that job. Like,
Mm.
I do not want to spend that much time away from my family. I don't want to be like working this much, time. So like how are there ways that like you can put things in a place where like there is more of a balance for
That is
women to take that
true.
opportunity?
Yeah.
Because they don't
I
even make it attractive to women.
Yeah, it is seeing it, like being able to see the examples, but then also, like you're saying, all those positions are fit for men when we do need to have more maternity leave or things based around our cycles or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Like, it does need to be different. Like, we need a kind of a boost to become equal.
Yeah. What else do you guys have?
Billie Eilish's song, I just like all the lyrics.
Yeah.
I really
Oh
can't.
my god, I know.
The part where it's like, I think I forgot to be happy, something I'm not, but something I can be. That's just how I feel in all my depression eras.
I know, me too. I love that
Say it
that
again.
line.
I think I forgot to be happy, something I'm not, but something I can be.
How to be happy.
Oh yeah, how to be
I
happy.
think I
I
forgot
wrote
how
it.
to be happy.
And then the other one is, I'm sad again, don't tell my boyfriend he's not made for. Oh, that's not what he's made for. And I think that is such a thing that girls experience also, is like we are looked at as so emotional, or you're being dramatic, or you're being crazy, or you're starting fights or whatever it might be. And like as girls, then you're not supposed to go to your boyfriend for that or whatever. It's like you need to go to other
They
girls
don't
to
understand it
understand.
either. Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's kind of crazy with like us suppressing so many of our emotions is we haven't ever learned how to fucking regulate them. So now we have this emotion because we
Exactly.
pressed it down, and then now we have an emotion now and we're like, what the fuck do I do with this thing? Like
Yeah,
it
and
can
same
be
with
so
boys.
catastrophic.
Well, it's because
With
the patriarchy is telling us not to express our emotions because then you're being hysterical, and that's not helpful to anybody. It's all coming from the patriarchy.
I definitely felt that, like, probably in middle school or, like, late elementary school going to middle school, of just those, like, little things of feeling like you had to be less girly, or, like, I remember being like, "I don't like pink anymore." Like, I was
Me
like, "I like
too.
blue." Like,
Yeah.
no, I love pink, like, how could I ever not
Yeah,
like pink?
yeah.
Like, just little things like that, or pretending to like certain things because the boys liked it, or all of that. It's like, why? Why did we do that?
Skateboarding.
Oh, I bought a skateboard. I had a skateboard. I rode it for about one day.
Me too. That's so funny.
That's
We
so
did
funny.
like I was like in Ireland with my sisters, and we were staying at one of our friends' houses, and the neighborhood boy like left his skateboard outside and they like went on vacation. So we like taught ourselves how to skateboard.
I love
And then of
that.
course like I was in charge of like the skateboard camp and I was like teaching everyone.
Oh, that's so
I didn't know
fun.
the fuck I was doing, but I was like,
Yeah.
I will be the coach. Like
I
I'll tell
love
you how to
Why
do
that.
every
this.
time anytime you're doing something as a kid, it's like, okay, well, this
I'm in
is
charge.
class. Yeah, I'm the coach.
This is
You guys
class.
are the students.
That's so true.
And we were like ramping up for this like fake tournament.
Oh my god, that's so fun. That
Did you
makes me
make
want to
like
be a kid.
jumps or anything? Or you're just going straight down the
Um,
street?
No, we were literally just going straight down the street. And like maybe every once in a while we were trying to do like the flip kick or like, where you jump and you like turn it over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or
Staying
put
on was an
one heel down
accomplishment.
and spin it.
Yeah. I had a Call of Duty era with my first boyfriend where I was
So
like,
funny.
I like Call of Duty.
With the deep voice. You didn't even go for like the high. I like Call of Duty.
I probably did. But like just so many things that you just fake. But did you guys, I was gonna ask you, like, was Barbie your number one thing? Like, or Bratz, Polly Pocket? Like, what was your actual favorite?
Barbie.
Mine was
I
Polly
never had a
Pocket.
Bratz doll or Polly Pocket.
Really? Maybe I
No.
guess
My
it's
mom
just
did
the
not like the
difference.
Bratz just because of the name.
Did you guys know,
Like,
or you
you
heard
are not allowed
about
to have a Bratz doll.
that the girls at the table in Barbie were all named after the Bratz dolls?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Like
That's
at the
funny.
lunch
No.
table, that daughter, she has one of the Bratz names, and then all of her friends at the table when Barbie comes up to them at lunch, they're all named after all the Bratz dolls.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes, it's a little
Bratz
nod
came
to
out
that.
when I was older.
I had a few
Yeah.
Bratz, but I think I wasn't they were like, I think my dad thought they were like slutty.
Yeah.
They had big lips, so it's, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how they like showed, like they used Sasha to show the depiction of like what Barbie's, I guess, or like everyone's perception of Barbie is in like the real world.
Yep.
And how she's like, what are you talking about? That's not at all what it's supposed to be.
I loved that.
Right,
And
and that's what the
I
real
also think,
world
like-
changed it to be when that was
Yeah.
never the intention or what they even thought Barbie was supposed to represent.
Yeah. But then like also again, just like how her mind was changed was not from like force or like telling her that she was wrong or that she was mean or anything like that. Again, it was
Mhm.
just like that open, inviting conversation. And I think that's again like just another representation of like we can't win against this sort of thing by like insulting and being mean to like other women and other girls. Like we have to like bring them in and have like open conversations. And I think that's another big theme throughout.
Definitely is.
We all need to be nice to each other.
Yeah.
I think
And just
it's
like
hard when
fucking
we're
sympathetic and empathetic about situations. Like there's just so much, too often it's always about like this misunderstanding of what actually happened. And it's just continuously tearing people down and apart.
Yeah, and we're like pitted together a lot. But it's also, I think a lot of it comes from jealousy too, of like when people are judgmental towards other girls. I think a lot of it is like, oh, I want that, whatever she might have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've seen it
there's
happen
a lot
a
of
few
girl
times.
hate.
I know. I've seen it happen a few times like on Instagram where like somebody is just misunderstood or like I don't really know exactly all the things that happen, but like they flip a 180 and they're so nasty and mean. And I'm like, but why? What did that do for you? Like, how did that help you? How did that help anybody? And what was the goal of it? Because there's room for everyone. And
did you guys see that podcast clip of like that older woman talking about micro influencers?
Oh,
give a recap of
you're
what she
talking to
said.
20
That made me
people.
so
Like, what
fucking
is your
riled
problem?
up.
I know. How
Shut
the fuck do you think
up.
you start?
So this girl,
And,
she was
like,
basically
also-
saying, we have to explain what she was saying. It was like,
Yeah.
it's a Barstool podcast, right?
Ew.
I think so. She was like
Probably, I don't
basically
know.
just saying that people who make videos as a micro influencer when you're getting 20 views is embarrassing and you shouldn't do it. Basically, just making fun of people.
Yeah, if you talk like you're an influencer but you have no followers. She's like, you have like 2,000 followers. Who are you even talking to?
Also, imagine being in a room with fucking 2,000 people. That I would have the shits.
Me too.
But also, like, why are you discouraging somebody from doing something they enjoy or putting themselves out there, whatever it is?
That's scary.
Then the number of people that saw that fucking clip and then they had to like internalize that and be like, oh, maybe I should quit now. But like they could be the next millionaire because they started talking to their 20 followers or the 20 people watching their stories.
Yeah, and I do think people who want to start being influencers, a lot of the scared judgment, like I hear that from Dog Mom Club a lot, is the fear of
Yeah.
other girls' judgment, not even like about
It
boys.
is.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it's also just like people are so fucking quick to be like, you're infringing on my like whatever.
Mhm.
And 9 times out of 10, you're not fucking original. Like,
Mhm.
everyone is kind of thinking the same thoughts, and like that's what makes you connected to other people.
For
And
sure.
it's too often that it's like, she's copying me, she's doing
Did you
this,
see
like she's trying
the
to take my space, and I'm like, no,
Did you
she's
see the
not.
DIY TikToker drama yet?
You gotta go into it.
No.
Okay, so there's this one DIYer. Her name is Tay Bebop, and she even has like this wallpaper. Like she they do like the what's the serotonin decor or whatever. Like she decorates with strawberry stools and like colorful couches, and she paints her wall really crazy, and it's really pretty
Mhm.
and cool, and she's like really known in this space as like a creative and a designer, and she has a wallpaper line, or she has a wallpaper line with another company, whatever. Then there's this other girl, Karin, who's growing, and she has probably the same amount of followers as her, and she's growing really quickly on TikTok, and she's doing all these cute, like she makes cereal bowls and puts them on her wall, and squiggly lines on her walls, and colorful blah 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 whatever. So Tay Bebop made this video with screenshots and screen recordings talking about how this girl Karin is straight up copying her. And there are all these things that are like very small, like, oh, it could be copy, maybe not. Like, I did a squiggly line, and then she did a green squiggly line in her kitchen. And I painted my living room blue and green, and then she painted her kitchen blue and green. And then she's like, and see this screenshot right here? That's my wallpaper. And she has my wallpaper on her wall. It's like, oh my God, she supported you and put your fucking wallpaper on her wall. And so everybody was like, she thought she was like going to get so many people replying to this video being like, oh my God, yeah, girl, she's copying you, blah, blah, blah. And everybody's like, oh, shoot, I'm sorry that like you did all these trends from Pinterest and now somebody else is doing them and you're accusing them of copy. Like, I'm sorry, I wanted to paint my kitchen blue and green. Yeah, am I allowed to do that? Like, will you give me permission to copy you? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it was ridiculous. And she posted an apology like a week later.
A week?
And
Holy shit.
yeah, and it was just like, I don't think she's posted since, but the wallpaper brand cut ties with her. Like, they're not selling her wallpaper anymore.
Yikes.
I haven't checked in on her in a while, but everybody was like backing this girl Karin, and they were like, Karin is the sweetest person I've ever seen. Like, we love her so much. And like, it went off really well for this girl Karin, and like really
Yeah.
bad for this girl Tay. And it was just like, I was like so invested in all this drama. It was crazy.
Dang,
But
Trisha.
again,
I
it's
wonder
another, like,
if,
why
like-
can't a woman be successful in the DIY space? Like, that should be amazing that she's getting inspiration from you, because ideas always come from someone else. Tay's ideas came from someone else. So
Yeah.
Karin getting inspiration from Tay is also fine. Like,
And also, like, did she even try and like have a fucking conversation with this Karin girl?
Probably
Or she
not.
just like,
Did
she apparently told her to stop copying her at some point, and then Tay kept finding evidence as to Karin copying her, which I don't think is even true. And then
That's
Tay
also-
blocked her and then posted this video.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so that she
shady.
wouldn't see
insane.
it. So Karin was like, people are messaging me. I haven't seen the video because she blocked me, but, and then she like tried to explain her side. It's
It's also very interesting though that you like, either if they had a conversation or they didn't have a conversation, like you are spending so much of your time and energy worrying about this other girl instead of
Mhm.
innovating and just focusing and staying in your own lane.
Yeah, how much time did she take to go through all of her content
So
and find
much
like
fucking time.
videos of
That's
her copying her?
insane.
Yeah. I get feeling like you're being copied
Yeah.
sucks. That feeling does
Yeah.
suck. But
Yeah.
Trisha Paytas made a video and she was like, I want to be an influencer, but I want to influence everyone but you. Like,
She was
like, that's the
copying.
whole
That was
fucking
because of the
point.
DIY.
Yeah. No,
drama.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it is so
Yeah.
true. Like, you're being an influencer. You're doing
Mhm.
DIYs to show, like, to get other people
how
to
to do it.
Exactly.
That makes no sense.
Exactly.
That's so funny.
But I was thinking, like, how we were talking about, once you kind of do have a following, like, you start to understand more the misunderstandings that people have about you or the comments that people make towards you. And then I think, like, when we're scrolling and we have any feeling of, like, judgment or something, like I try to check myself of being like, well, why am I feeling that, or why am I assuming that, and then like actually checking it out and realizing that my assumption was like not even true. But I was surprised because this girl that has like over 500,000 followers left a hate comment on one of my videos on TikTok and said that I take horrible care of the dogs. And I was
I would
like,
never.
that's so just interesting, like that she
Yeah.
has a lot of followers and she probably gets things like that. Like usually when I get hate comments, it's from like a random person.
A no name.
Yeah, it's like, oh, thank you. I'm gonna go watch one of your 60-second videos and make a judgment on you as well. So
Yeah.
thanks for that. Like,
She
what the
said it
fuck?
because I cut Finn's nail when he was a puppy. She said that was so
You're like, yeah, I felt like
traumatizing
a
for him.
fucking. Yeah, you're like, I was traumatized too.
That's what I said in the video, and she was like, it was more traumatizing for him than you. It doesn't matter to you. Take better care of your animals.
Oh my god.
I was like, it's still affected me 4 years later.
Blocked.
I cannot.
Oh yeah. Oh, I loved at the end of the movie, like how she just wants to go to the gyno, and like she's not trying to be president or something crazy like that. Like she's just trying to be a girl.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was important to show that
Figuring it
like
all out.
you're doing enough
Uh-huh.
just by like you don't have to be going for a job interview. Like, yeah, you thought she was gonna go do something super important, and she's like, I'm here to see my gynecologist. Like,
Yeah, there's something that we want to avoid and something that like we don't talk about and stuff.
and it's something that's normal and all women do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's, ordinary Barbie, like going back to
Yeah.
that, like it's okay to just want to be a mom or to just want to, get through the day. Like that's okay too.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes into like women's health and how like we're not educated about anything about women. Or like on Armchair Expert, they were talking about, well, just like how so many medicines and everything have not been tested on women. All of these studies and stuff were not done on women. Like I think he said Ambien is like over 2 times stronger in girls than it is for boys, and it wasn't tested on girls. So like at first they were just having fucking way stronger effects, and
Oh
it
my
was like a
God.
big issue. But like there's so many things like that where the world is just not built for us. And it's just so crazy to see like that people don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the movie?
I mean, it was also so funny.
I know.
Yeah.
Like I was
loved
laughing the whole
Alan.
time.
Oh my God, when
Yeah.
Ryan or Ken, when Barbie said that she wanted to hang out with Ken, and he went around and was like, "Sublime."
Yeah,
That was
so
like the
funny.
only part where I like laughed out loud. Like it was so unexpected and random.
And he said that
Joe
wasn't
loved
in the
that one,
script.
too.
Like he just did that off the cuff.
Yeah, apparently he was just like improving, and he kept going back and like saying different things, and Margot was like cracking up because he was
I
just
think
like
that's so
testing out
funny.
different things. That should be deleted scene or like a blooper. I want to see all the things that he said because that would be so funny.
I love too, like in all their interviews, you can tell that Margot, like, that he's Ryan Gosling to her. Like, you can tell, like, when she talks about past him and stuff, that she kind of had a crush on him or, like, views him as Ryan
That's
Gosling.
cute.
He was so good though. Also, like whenever Barbie would be like, "Fine, but don't go far," and he'd be like, "I'm not." Like he was like acting like a little kid. Okay, fine. Like
It was
he
so
was
funny.
just so good.
He's so Ken. And I read an article yesterday, like he didn't want to wear a wig and like felt like a wig was uncomfortable, and like they went into dyeing both of their hairs, and like how with Margot Robbie they literally changed the tone of the blonde of her hair
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie based on her outfits. And
I
like
saw that
with
too.
Ryan Gosling they were originally going to make it more kind of like his natural hair, and then they were like he was like too handsome, like they wanted him to look more like a doll. And just
Yeah.
how it like they said his hair took to bleach very well, so he didn't need to wear a wig.
Someone just rang
That's
my
really
doorbell.
funny.
Scary. I don't like that.
I can't answer. Maybe it was just
What was your favorite part, Britt?
yes.
I think I liked when they were like all teaming up together to change
Yeah.
the minds. And they like involved the weird Barbie in the
Yeah.
process, and like she had a role and was really important.
Yeah.
Kate McKinnon is so good. She's so
She
funny.
was so funny.
It was
They
just
were
like
all so good.
every funny line was just like a part of the female experience that not everyone would understand. Like the whole
Yeah.
movie, like every laugh I had, it like made me feel understood, I guess. Like
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
I don't know how Greta put in so many different aspects of the female experience into one movie.
She is a genius.
Do you know how long she was like working on it? It was for a long time. Because there was like other people supposed to play Barbie and stuff.
Uh-huh. I don't know.
I do like when they inserted when Barbie was like, I'm so ugly. And then like the narrator came on, she's like, Margot Robbie's the wrong person to cast to make you feel bad for her.
Yeah, that was so good.
I love that. I love when they break the fourth wall.
Yeah. And Alan was so funny.
So
I don't
good.
fucking remember an Alan Barbie. Like,
I think it was like in the 60s
is he a
or
real
something.
thing?
Yes, and
Oh,
it
okay.
literally just
They
said,
discontinued it, didn't it?
yeah, because it was
Ken's
kind of
buddy.
gay. It just says Ken's buddy. Ken share all of Ken's clothes.
Uh-huh.
Or like fits
And
in
Alan
all
was
of
like
Ken's
obsessed
clothes.
with Ken. Like he
Yeah.
literally was Ken's buddy.
That's so funny.
The
I
cast
also like
was so
didn't.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
I realized the other like discontinued Barbies either. Like the pregnant one.
Yeah.
No, actually, I fucking remember having a pregnant Barbie. I'm pretty
You
sure.
I had a
did?
pregnant.
I
thought
think
had
so.
a pregnant one.
I could be making this up, but like I'm pretty sure I didn't have one, but I'm pretty sure one of my friends did. I could obviously be making this up, but I'm like
I
pretty
did.
sure someone
I
had
don't
one.
remember where it was like the baby in it, but I remember a pregnant Barbie. Like it was
Oh,
closed
I think
belly.
I think that was what it was. People are like showing the wrong thing with the baby in the belly.
Well,
I don't
that was a
know if that's
thing,
actually a
but that was
Barbie.
like in the 60s or
Let me
70s or
see.
something. That's what the character was. What is her name? Midge?
Midge.
Yeah.
But that
That's a
was a
very
great.
set 50s name.
It is. Like all the details that every outfit was an actual Barbie outfit was so
Mhm.
cool. Like that, just all the details with the costume and the set. And like when they're throwing over the clothes, it's just that all of those are actual pieces. It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so pretty. So good. Oh, how like Barbie is able to talk to Ken without like having to tiptoe and worry about hurting his feelings. Like when she's having girls' night and Ken's like, "Can I please stay?" And she's like, "No, you need to leave. Like leave."
Yeah.
And he was like,
I did like
"Okay."
that.
Like that was nice
Love
too.
that.
Yeah.
Like we don't have that. Like just
Mm-mm.
something as simple as that.
Like as women, we put up with so much shit because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. So like
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
women, most of the time, if a guy's begging to stay at our house, like we would say yes because we don't want to deal with, them getting
Yeah.
angry at us or
But then in the
you never
opposite
know.
scenario, when boys 24/7 are like, I'm having boys' night, bye. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what like some of like this podcast I was listening to was like having a problem with. Like she was like, there's like elements of emasculation. I'm just like, but again, like what we don't see that represented. We don't see it represented that someone's like holding strong to their boundaries and feeling confident
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah, how is that
So why is it
emasculating?
bad?
and it was just the opposite. It's proving the point. Like
Mhm.
them
Yeah.
thinking that it's demasculating is proving the point because all they
Yeah.
did was flip the roles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it's
And there's just other
proving.
things throughout the movie that they were talking about, and I was just like, I don't know. It was very intriguing. I
Wait,
like
what
had to shut up.
podcast was
I couldn't
this?
listen. It was I think it's like feminist as fuck. I do like a lot of her stuff, but this episode I was
It's
just
interesting
like
that it was a
I
feminist
also think
podcast.
it's
That's
it's
upsetting to
interesting too
me.
because I think that she's talking from a different lens of a very confident, like in her power person, and then seeing this. And I understand why she might have like a different perspective, but the majority of people are not in her position where
Mhm.
they are not confident, they don't feel in their power, and they've never been told that they can do these things. And so I think her lens is a little bit skewed.
For
And maybe,
sure.
again, maybe this is me just being like, okay, you're talking to your subset of your community that is going to resonate with that.
And it's a fucking movie.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is true though of like even we're very white privileged girls of even our level of being suppressed is a lot less than for many other girls in the world. So I'm
Yeah.
sure she, from her perspective, is like slightly seeing it differently. Did you see that influencer girl that like got canceled when she posted a video? Like I'm pretty sure it was like the day Barbie came out or the day after or something. And she's
Mm-mm.
young. I don't know her name, but she's like definitely got to be in college or something. But she was like, I didn't like it, and I wish
Oh, the
that
Alabama girl?
yeah. She was like, I
Yeah.
wish that Ken and Barbie would have like had a happily ever after and like all this stuff, and she just got a bunch of hate.
But again, that is where like hating her isn't fucking changing her mind.
No.
And it's just making her feel like shit. So canceling her is just stupid because it gets us nowhere.
Yeah, that's extremely true.
And if we would have come at it with love and been like, hey, girl, you can believe that. But also, just so you know, you
I
don't
think
have
she
to
just
rely on
wanted
him
a
for happily ever
different
after.
Barbie movie. Like she just wanted a different like of
Yeah,
the characters.
which is fine.
Well, go watch the cartoons then.
Yeah, exactly. Can we talk about how there's gonna be a Mattel theme park opening in Phoenix with a Barbie dream house, and I will be going?
Oh,
Really?
let's go. We can go
I'm
make
so
so much
excited.
content there.
I like wonder, do you think it'll be like a Disneyland castle? Like how
I have
much do you
no
think you'll be able
idea.
to go through the actual house? I
You
wonder.
better be able to go through it, otherwise what's the point?
I know. Like I hope it's
Yeah.
kind of like Toontown.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
I didn't realize they were doing that.
Yeah, and they're doing like
don't-
what are the
It better
cars
be
called?
cool. Oh, Matchbox?
No,
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels. Yeah, there's like a Hot Wheels roller coaster and stuff, and like there's some water thing. They have like a live camera of them building it. But I think it's not open for like maybe even 2025 or something.
Better be cool.
I hope so. I feel like that'll bring a lot of tourism to Arizona, but it seems hot.
Barbie Beach House. Oh, it says enjoy signature pink beverage on the third story rooftop of the Barbie Beach House.
Stop. I can't wait. We need to wear like cute outfits.
I need to get some Barbie merch.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. A fucking pink drink on the rooftop of a Barbie Beach house.
I hope it's not too expensive to go.
I know, I hope not.
I just looked up the board of directors and everything for Mattel.
Mm-hmm.
No girls.
There's still very few. Like in the executive office for it, there's one female.
Wow.
Damn. And they were straight
The
up about that though.
directors,
Like
there's the board of directors, at least there's 5 females out of 11. But
that's pretty good.
very interesting.
Wow.
The Barbie dream house better be cool.
Yeah.
That was my
Has anyone
favorite present, like as a child, my Barbie dream house.
I never got a dream house. I used my like dollhouse as a dream house.
I
Maybe
made
it was
like
a dollhouse. I don't.
my whole bedroom their house. Like I'd be like, this is
That's
like,
amazing.
make the living room and the bedroom.
My friend, what did they use? I think they used shoe boxes and they made their own dream house, and it was so fucking cool. Like they had an entire wall of shoe boxes with like all different rooms and like thrifted like beds and bedding.
Oh my
and,
God.
like
That is so
it was so freaking cool.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
My favorite Barbie thing I had was a Barbie Jeep. Like I had one of those little car Jeep things that you drive
Where
around.
you like you could physically ride in it?
Not inside. Like you'd be outside, like on the street. No. Like I like you like as a 3-year-old. Like when you like press on the little.
I fucking wanted one
you
of
go
those
like
so
2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
My dad just bought my
whip
nephew
and like
one.
someone else's. Just like take it and go.
It was so fun.
It's probably good that I didn't own one. There is like a little kid behind our house that like has some sort of like Matchbox car, and you could just like hear him like whizzing around.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I hope like when I have kids, like not based on their gender, they'll like things. Like, I want my sons to be open to playing with Barbies, or girls to play with cars or whatever they want to play with.
I think the main thing I took away from the Barbie movie is how much I love being a girl.
Yeah.
And, like,
Mhm.
honestly, when I was watching yesterday, I kind of felt sad for boys that, like, they don't have Barbies. I mean, they can play with Barbies, but, like,
That's what I
is
mean.
it
I
the
feel sad
same?
for boys in a lot of ways. They don't have
Mhm.
emotional connection in the same way. They don't talk about they don't have, I don't want to like generalize that every single boy's like that, but I think
Yeah.
that most boys don't go to their friends about problems that they're having, about feelings that they're having, about anything going on in their life. Like when I grew up,
Mhm.
like my mom would have friends and my dad would like talk to the husbands of those friends, or like
Yeah.
see his friend to work on a house project or something. And
Mhm.
like now I
Yeah.
experience Cameron talks to his friends like when they play video games. He's not like I call my friends when I'm crying and having a breakdown.
I think they said this on What We Said, but someone was saying that when women hang out and talk to each other, they face each other. And when men hang out and talk to each other, they
Holy
face
shit.
like
The
forward.
world.
That's
Side
so
by
That is
side.
interesting.
Yeah.
that is
And
so
men like get
true.
together, they're always doing like an activity,
Yeah.
like golfing or playing basketball
Yeah.
or watching a game, and they're facing forward and they're not like connecting.
It's a distraction.
And our
Yeah.
main activity is talking, and then it's like,
Yeah.
what's based around that? Are we getting our nails
Yeah.
done? Are we having a drink? Are we,
Yeah.
like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Whoa, that is so weird.
Yeah.
I hope
think there's
that
still a
it.
long way for them.
I know, but I hope that it helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Hope.
I think I would be curious, like, the percentage of men and women that have seen this, but I think there are quite a bit more men than I anticipated
Yeah.
that saw it.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Being
just
dragged by their
us
girlfriends.
being more unapologetically ourselves and like not fearing of like being too much of a fangirl about things, or being too much of anything or too little of
Mhm.
anything.
Mhm.
Maybe
Yeah.
that will help, because I definitely in high school and middle school tried to form myself of where I'd like be embarrassed that I loved One Direction so much or something. And it's like, no, you're screaming for the football team the same way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Love that.
Me
That was
too.
all my notes.
Me too.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening. Go join our Facebook community and let us know if you saw the Barbie movie and what your thoughts were about all the things that we just said. Make sure you leave us a rate and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, and we'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Love.
Yeah, that was good.